Good evening. Welcome to the City of Gilbert City Council meeting Tuesday, September 26, 2023. The time is 6:17 p.m. and we'll take roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. I have Councilor Pontonen.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Councilor Polis.
Here.
Councilor Skenzich.
Here.
Councilor Heitzman is absent with notice. I also have in attendance the City Attorney Lindsay, City Engineer Jamnik, Operations Supervisor Lotiger, and Clerk Zoller.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It always shows up.
We do have a quorum. If everybody would stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And do we have any additions?
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to set a special meeting for Monday, 5 o'clock, to discuss the conclusion of the employee investigation that has started a couple years ago or 2 years ago or so. I'm looking for a motion to set that and add that to the agenda. That might include employee evaluation or discipline. Right?
Okay.
Yep, it wouldn't, so the item, the addition that I hear is that you're looking to add an item to schedule a special meeting.
Correct.
And so you could do that as part of a report that you give, or we could drop it down and put it under miscellaneous, because the only action the council would take would be to set that separate meeting, which would come with its own agenda.
I'll just do it at my time to speak.
Perfect. Any other additions, deletions?
I'm sorry. I do have an addition. For the transient merchant permit that is on your desk, all of the information is here, and a background check will be conducted. We're looking to add this underneath new business. They would like to be approved so that they can come into town. I think they have a specific date, October 7th, in front of the Sandbar in the main street, so that they can operate their buns to go food truck.
Are they looking for any other dates?
Not that I'm
I
aware
see
of.
that they had made a comment. But that's a yearly thing, correct?
Correct. She paid, generally it's a year or 2 weeks. She only has October 7th on her date, but she did pay for the annual permit, so I would assume that gives her a year
Right.
by looking at her check mark.
All right, do I have a motion to approve adding under new business?
It'd be item D, or under number 8, item
New
D.
business D.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilor Polis, supported by Councilor Skenzich to add transient merchant permit for discussion as item D under new business. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. Any other additions?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. City council minutes, the boards and commissions minutes, invoices from previously approved projects, payments of bills and payroll upon.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Polis,
I'll support.
supported by Councilor Skenzich. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. And public input. Do we have anybody in the audience for public input? Thank you. Mayor's report. I was texted today by Noel from the school asking if the city's interested in goalposts or if we want them to tear down the fencing up there around the football field. I told him we'd get back to him. He's putting that in the bid if we're not interested to be torn down. So if there's any interest the city would have in obtaining those, or no, the fencing, I guess, Sammy, is that something the city could repurpose?
Fencing, no, usually fencing, when you try to repurpose it, it doesn't work out too good. Just doesn't, and I can't even remember how tall that stuff, I think, is taller fence than what we would be looking for like mine fence or anything like that, so I don't think so.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
did he give the option of leaving that up, the fencing? Just because of the height of that wall? I know they had said they weren't gonna, he had said he wasn't gonna take out the football field. But
And that rock, I assume, yes, that's something that if,
the goalposts could go, but
Yeah.
the fencing might be a good safety thing to leave up. I don't know, rather than having that's gotta be 10 feet.
yeah, I think so. But,
Yeah, it depends what condition it's in, maybe it's on its way out anyway. We really looked at it when we did that walkthrough.
I drove by there
Yeah.
today to look at it. It's
Good shape.
upwards of 10 feet, and a lot of it did look like it was still in good shape. If it's a safety issue, it's something we can reach out to them and ask that they do leave it.
Yeah,
Or-
right. Depends on how that gets developed.
Football field, maybe they are taking it out now, I don't know.
What's that?
Maybe they are taking the retaining wall down the football.
No, they said they
No,
were
it
leaving
didn't sound like that. It just, they
They were
were,
leaving the wall, yeah.
asking if the city would be interested in the goalposts or the fencing, if they wanted us to have them add it to their bid of tear down.
I think you could leave the fencing and goalpost, I don't know. They could take the goalpost, but leave the fence, just leave it as it is. And
That's what I'd.
whatever type development you go, you might need it for safety purposes.
What are you gonna do with the goalposts, though?
No, get rid of it.
No, they'll tear 'em down.
Demo it.
Yeah, they'll demo it and get rid of it.
Like, you only
Probably
see those
scrap metal.
those rusting and falling down eventually anyway, so.
Someone
Right.
getting hurt.
The other thing is, I don't know, since you're on this topic of the school, did you guys ever figure out about the tennis courts? Was there a conversation where we were gonna take the tennis courts over or not? I know me, Bob, and Tom went up there and looked.
I believe they're going to take it out. I think the city passed on them because of the repairs, and if we're going to do anything like that for future, I would rather have it all together and have it down with the rest of the rec stuff. So I believe we passed.
The only other thing with the football field, I know we talked, it would be nice aesthetics, some of the stairs and it's nice, but I know that one corner of the football field is pretty rotted, where the concrete rock is, where all the bus or the janitors always parked. It's pretty rotted, and is that something where, do we have them take down so much or not? It would be better, because now if the city gets the property, then it's going to be on us to take it down or do something with it.
Yeah, I guess I've
Just a
never
thought.
done any of the bidding process. Is that an option that you can put in there for the bid, for the tear down?
Well, I suppose you could always
All
have
or
them
none?
specific spots, hey, we want the stairs and we want this hook and goal. But, if that would be an option for the city council to, maybe ask them if they would do that, and maybe they're gonna say, no, it's all or nothing, or something like that, but But yeah, we should go take a look at that rock wall just to make sure, because if the city does get the property, then it's gonna be something we gotta deal with, so.
By the bus garage, you're saying, or where?
Yeah, well, by the bus garage, right on where the corner of the football field was, I believe was pretty bad. Yeah, where you walked in between the building and the football field. I think that wall was, towards the stairs was really good, but that outer corner was kind of needed some attention.
Maybe if we, have a developer go up there and they can repair it, I would say leave the wall up and then deal with that after we do get the property. And the developer looks at it and says, then it's going to be his expense to tear it down or whatever. We can make that part of the purchase agreement or whatever. But I'd say leave it for now. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't mess with it. I mean, the wall is kind of nice in places, and if it can be repaired, I think that would be an asset to whoever buys that property.
Right now, it's not a safety issue, is it? No. So it's nothing the city really has to be concerned over. No. So maybe just in conversation, but for sure the goalposts and see if they'll leave the fence up, if that's an option.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's something I'll call Noel tomorrow and let him know what we discussed. Also, I'll make note, I forget the date it was, but myself, Councilor Pottman, Clerk Zoller, and Sam went to the college in Virginia and presented to the Senate Capital Improvement Committee regarding the funding for the community center project. Sort of like when I went down to the cities and begged for money down there from our politicians. But it went okay. We have another presentation tomorrow night for the House Committee, just to let the people know that we were asking for more money for the project. And that's including the ADA bathrooms downstairs and some other renovations and projects in the community center. So, and that's pretty much all I have. Councilor Pottman?
I don't have anything tonight, no.
Thank you. Councilor Polis?
Sure. I got so like I said, I've been doing the investigating for, I don't know what you call it, employee turntable, whatever you want to call it. I'm comfortable coming to my conclusion and discussing it in a closed meeting. I was thinking Monday, maybe 5 o'clock. Brian, you're available? Okay. Just thinking Monday at 5 o'clock, we can discuss it and go from there.
You want it as a special session so you can make a determination?
Yeah.
Yes.
A special closed meeting, yes.
So I'm looking for a motion to have that meeting at 5 o'clock on Monday.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Pottman,
I'll second.
supported by Councilor Skinsich to approve the posting of a closed special meeting for 5 p.m. on Monday,
October 2nd.
October 2nd, in reference to employee or personnel.
I think at this point, what I understood, Councilor Polis, what I understood you've been looking into is the employee turnover.
Yes.
And so we could do that, and then, Councilor, you and I will have a conversation, and I'll provide any assistance I can relative to a closed session.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Skinsich.
I do not have anything. Thanks.
Thank you. Attorney Lindsay.
Thanks, Mayor. No formal report, but I am happy to answer any questions if the council has them.
Thank you. Engineer Jamnik.
The line item is the bids for the approved plumbing project. You know, it sounds like there's a lot of discussion at the working session on it, so you want to bring that up now or somewhere else down in the agenda?
Mayor, can I
Yes.
go ahead and approve the bid award that was already bid out? That's for the work to be done, correct?
Well, the award that we included in the agenda package was to award the base bid.
Pardon me?
Was to award the base bid. When we
Right.
took bids on a project, we had a base bid for the $198,000 for the sewer and water. The ad alternate was the site work. So, and I understand, I mean, I haven't seen it, we're getting the IRRB grant. I don't know if that's formal or not, I don't know. That was one of the contingencies we had before the last meeting, was going to be contingent upon the IRRB money too, so I'm not sure where we're at with it. So is this going to be discussed a little bit further on Monday too, Joe?
No.
Okay.
No.
This wasn't part of that special meeting.
So I mean, that was our recommendation at this time, was to award the base bid contingent upon the IRRB funding. So, and it sounds like you're going to continue to work with the developer on the rest of the site work portion of the project.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Yep, so this is approving the funding, correct?
Funding for just the
For
infrastructure.
the infrastructure, correct.
This is running the sewer line up the highway and
Just that
the,
part.
and the
Just
drive,
that approving
and
the bid
the
for-
water service, double water service to his
Just
property.
approving the 198.
And it's award to two easy business as Joe and Stop. Correct?
Yeah. So we're kind of in between permits too. We have not gotten the final MnDOT access permit yet neither, but everything we sent to MnDOT is the indication it's coming. So we kind of resolved the issue of putting in the turn lane, so
And that does have to be done, the turn lane?
no.
No, okay.
I think we justified, and working with Luke, he gave us numbers on how many trucks a day are going to be entering the facility. And, you know, we gave him some other numbers on future, like delivery trucks going in and out of the site per week. And the bigger thing was, I think it was, we requested as a city street, and we told MnDOT it may become a city street in the future. It's going to be more just a commercial driveway at this time, so I'm anticipating that permit coming before today's meeting, to be honest with you, but I haven't seen it.
I'll move.
All right. Moved by Counselor Polis,
I'll second.
supported by Counselor Skinsich to accept the award notice of $198,645 for the bid project of approved plumbing
To Joel and Son.
to Jola and Sop.
Are they still using that name?
Yeah, I think so,
They're changing it.
but it's still Jola and Sop.
As of right now.
Well, they did, their official name is Too Easy Incorporated,
And they're changing it again.
doing business as Joel and Sop Excavating, so
Yeah,
that's how they signed the bid.
Keep it in Jones.
okay.
Two, the number Two Easy, capital E, capital Z, Incorporated.
Incorporated, yep.
So we're awarding the bid to them of
Yes.
$198,000.
645.
Right, okay.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None motion carries 4-0. And I did it again, I skipped the fire chief. Anthony, if you...
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Kaiwai is busy, so you get to deal with me. So, just a couple quick things from the fire department. The first thing I have, me and Kaiwai talked about, requesting approval for 2 sets of turnout gear for our new firefighters that are starting their class here coming in October. With the delay on the gear and just trying to get it on order, it is a budgeted item for this year. We've been kind of holding off and hoping we can get some more people to join the fire department, but no luck. So that's the first thing I have. Roughly $3,200 per set of turnout gear. So, and like I said, is in our budget for those sets.
I'll move.
Moved by Counselor Polis,
I'll support.
supported by Counselor Skinsich. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0 to approve the budgeted item for 2 sets of turnout gear.
Perfect, thank you very much. And the second one I have is I was approached by McQueen Emergency about possibly getting ladder 23 taken down to the Chiefs Conference in October. So asking approval from the council and the mayor to bring ladder 23 down to the Chiefs Conference in Duluth. The days it will be down there is Wednesday, October 18th until Friday morning, the 20th. I will be taking it down there because I'm going down to the conference myself, so I will take it down there, get it in place in the showroom, and then I will be bringing it back, and it'll be in town by roughly noon on Friday. In the budget and everything, we have enough to cover fuel costs, and also McQueen mentioned to me on the phone that they will cover anything that we need them to cover since they're asking permission to have it down there. So that is the last thing I have is just approval to take ladder 23 down there for the day and a half, 2 days, to have it on show for the Chiefs Conference.
Moved by Counselor Polis,
I'll second for discussion. So you're saying that, who's that,
McQueen Emergency is,
Like-
they sells the,
Are they gonna pay for the fuel and for your time down there? Is that what you said?
no,
Misunderstand?
they will pay for the fuel for the rig to be down there.
Fuel,
Yes.
yeah. And then you're gonna be there overnight with the,
I will be there all week for the Chiefs Conference. It is Wednesday until Sunday morning is
so it's
the,
an overnight thing that you have to?
yes,
And you're gonna cover your costs through the budgeted items from the fire department?
yes.
Okay,
And it is all reimbursed from MBFTE, all the tuition and all the, everything that we do is covered.
Right.
It's, the city gets reimbursed.
okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
seconded by Counselor Potenon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we don't have a fire.
Yeah,
You still have the other one.
Not to mention that, I did talk to Biawabic City with their ladder, talked to Danny Mackey and their officers, and they are well aware if our engine is out of town, their ladder will be the first one. They're on our box alarm. They're coming no matter what. And also, we do have the squirt. We can put some hose on it and some water in as long as Sammy is okay with it. And if we got to put it in the hall for a day or two, it can still pump water. It can still move water if we need it.
Could just leave it dry and just put it in there.
Yes.
We'd have to hook to a hydrant anyway, so.
Yep.
It would be a good idea to do.
Yeah.
We have something,
Yep.
another piece.
Totally agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
It's cool. Spring fire.
All right, I'm sorry, John, did you have anything further? I gather that's no Public Works, Sam? Want to hit it, Mike? It's gonna scream. Yeah.
I do not. I'm kind of quiet this meeting. I was pretty lengthy the last one, so. Just agenda items, I don't have much unless there's something from council.
Did you get any applicants for the ice rink yet?
I don't even know if we posted it yet. Yeah, we're gonna be starting the posting now and be coming forward sometime around, usually I bring them forward sometime around first meeting in December or end of November, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And Police Chief Ty, teacher.
I have nothing this evening unless you have something for me.
No, can't think of anything. Thank you. And then the campground host, Wendy, not here. Okay. We'll go on to the library director, Sue.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry about the reverbing, I don't understand, but that's okay. What's going to happen is we have a couple of Arrowhead craft grants, actually. Right now, we're working with a finished star, so that anyone in Gilbert who would like to make, please stop by the library. Starting on the 1st of September, we're going to be doing some acrylic paint kits, also free to the public in Gilbert to come and enjoy and pick up a craft from us also. We're gathering up all of the Halloween and autumn stuff, so we're decorating the library full of color. I've got E-Rats coming. They come twice a month, and they help clean, dust, prepare. They're wonderful minions. The other thing is we have been getting quotes from painters, and I'm waiting for someone to come about the blinds, and we will let you all know what the quotes are, and we're doing this with the foundation, so they'll be paying. And it would be the bathroom in the office, it would be the library walls, the ceiling, the little entryway when you first come into the library door, and then that hallway. So that's what's going on so far. And again, I will keep you abreast of the situation. And the other thing was that the board and the foundation and I would like to ask for a raise of the city credit card. And I sent that information to you. It would be in my minutes. I'm asking for it to go from 1,500 to 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good for more like the printer, range paper, range office, Excel business, or Amazon, Target, Walmart, that type of thing. No other vendors, just what's necessary for the library.
Mayor, is there,
Yes.
clerk, is there any reason why we wouldn't?
I'm not sure, do we even make that determination? I mean, she would have to be within her budget, correct?
Budget and,
I mean, you know, they have about $80,000 a year in wages, less the $108,000 that we give them, and whatever smaller fees they have, without adding in her late fees and some of the fees that the library themselves earns, you know, they'd have at $28,000 left over after wages. But I guess this is to Attorney Lindsay. I mean, being there kind of sovereign from us in a way, do we make that determination? I know we can't call for the city staff has to. We can't make any changes to their Visa card. We don't have the authorization, but do they come to us for that, or is that their library board determination for their budget?
So I think, Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
The approval, any approval to raise the limit should come through the city, because while the library is given some independence from the city, ultimately the financial affairs of the library flow through the city. And so the council should take action or give, if nothing else, give a strong recommendation as to how they should proceed, because ultimately the city holds the funds and is, I mean, you can almost think of it as a fiscal agent for the library. And so we have some influence, and so we should take action as it relates to those authorities.
If I could, Mayor, I would think that we could table that and take a better look at their budget. I personally don't have her budget right in front of me to look to see where they're at in that case, and I'd like to take a deeper dive and see exactly where they sit before making that determination. That would be my suggestion.
Generally, by the end of the year, I've got between 10 to 13,000 left.
Okay, but to have the accurate numbers, I would almost agree that we have to take a look, because we don't have that in front of us. So if we look at that, then if we table it for now and have it for next council for approval, I think would be.
Yes, I thought you might, also bring into account, check with the audit and see what I've done. And I was also thinking that it might pull together some of the regular bills that I incur every month, so that we would just, I guess, keep them together into one. It would still be the same budget, with the Baker and Taylor, the same budget, third party, the same budget that I use for office or anything else that we use within the office. I do keep a very tight budget, though I don't know the salaries or the para or little costs like the phone, any of that. I'm not privy to that.
Okay. I think we'll table that increase for now, and then Clerk Zoller will look into it, and by next council, we can have that answer.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Good, and the only things I have to add is that we have the solar glasses for the eclipse on October 14th, so please come get your free solar glasses for the whole family. We also have a kit that we can make a little solar viewer for younger kids. And we do have also a craft for younger kids to at home for their room. That's about it, guys.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
And advisory boards? Nothing for us tonight? Thank you. Clerk Zoller.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with a financial update here. So we do have our PFA funding coming in for the water treatment plant reimbursements, plus the PFA for the manhole reimbursement and the water treatment interim funding receipts, plus what we have currently in our checking, which brings us to $893,767.36. Less bills and consent agenda items will leave us with $703,311. And we do still have our interim financing, which is I'm working with the bank, and they have that in a separate savings account. So that $676,250 less the $195 is what will remain in that savings account, so it's a little more restrictive. And I'm going to run that more like we do the PFA, where it'll stay in a separate account. Every time we have receipts and reimbursements, it'll be kind of like a reimbursement to that account, and then we'll put it in the checking just to keep them separate. Campground currently has $163,668.56 in it. I have not transferred the last funds from there that were approved, so we'll get to that. And I think that was what, 16,000, I think it was. So they got about 150, give or take, and change. Aside from that, I don't have anything else to report on this one, unless you have something for me.
Mayor?
Yes.
You went to that cemetery conference? Can you
I did.
kind of fill us in on that?
Yeah, so it was very interesting. The first day was all kind of a procedure law. It was kind of a cemetery 101, things that we need to be conscientious of as far as signage, protecting ourselves, which I think we have a lot to do as far as not crawling on cemetery monuments, things like that people don't necessarily think of, so that we're not held harmless. We need to really look into that information. Ironically, they feel that burials are going to increase over the next 2-3 years because of the baby boomers. They're still, very prideful. A lot of them are very Catholic going, do the full burials, but they do expect that after that probably only 20 to 30% of any burials will actually be in a cemetery, just with the way that things are going and less attendance at church, things like that. They expect a lot of churches are going to close just with the lack of attendance. Aside from that, it was just really good networking. We really need to get digital. I brought back a nice spreadsheet that I am going to work with the office staff and start getting all of our index cards that are currently just on paper into the system, so that if we do decide on a digital platform, we'll be ready to go, just importing the spreadsheet into that. So that'll be our big project that I'll be working towards, and getting all that information captured so it's just not on paper. So that was kind of the biggest things, is just how we can protect ourselves and what we can do to bring ourselves into today's age. Another big thing they're doing is a lot of them are taking drone pictures of their cemetery and plotting them off so that you can see what is. It also gives you a good indication of what sites maybe are sinking, where you need to do fill-in or things like that, which I thought was a good idea, doing just kind of an overall look from sky view. I know lots of people around here have drones, and just to give us a bird's eye view of what maybe we need to tackle that we can't see. So that was kind of the gist of it.
Was there talk about columbariums at all?
Yes, they're very, very, very popular. They're about $50,000 to $60,000 to install. They have design plans. A lot of them you can do yourselves, but they are the way of going forward. Most cemeteries that have them are bringing 2-3 more in. Our smaller rural cemeteries are on their second one already, so they're very popular. Expensive to put in, but people pay for them. And evidently the top space is the most popular. Nobody wants to be on the bottom? I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Old business, the wastewater treatment plant.
I have nothing to report. We didn't have a bypass or nothing this over the weekend. I think they had close to 4 inches of rain down there at the sewer plant. There's still lots of water coming in, but we're handling it. We do have a little issue down there where we're getting some mud in the lines somewhere. So we're doing ongoing investigations throughout some of our lines, where we may have to get somebody to come up and televise some lines here in the future, a couple weeks here. But yeah, that's about it. Magny's going to be on site, I believe, in about 3 weeks or 2 weeks, once we take down some of the digester area. We have some work in there that we got to do. There's some warranty work that we got to inspect some of the aeration deals down there, and then we're going to be also inspecting what the heck are they called? The decan arms. So we'll be doing that after we get the trailer in, after we get rid of all that sludge in the tanks. So we're still doing ongoing work down there, but we're kind of holding back from doing anything significant. So that's all.
So on that televising, do you have to get bids for that? Because talking to Tara, she said that was kind of an urgent thing because they're having trouble with mud in the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, I was going to, well, not necessarily for that, because it's kind of an urgent thing. The biggest thing is to try to get them up here. I did call the guy that does the best work around here, that does it for Evelyn and Fail, and he's done a bunch for us too. And he's booked out 2 to 3 weeks. I know Tara contacted, I believe, Minnesota Rural Water. That guy will be up here, I think, next week. So we're going to try to use him first. And then if this Great Lakes Pipe Service ever is able to come up, I'll see what we can do there too, so.
So do you need a motion by the council to go ahead with this?
I don't think so, because it's just ongoing, it'd be ongoing investigation work or trying to fix a problem is what we're doing. I'm not getting, lengths of pipe cleaned.
Right, but the cost, is there any cost?
Oh, there'll be a cost, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
What kind of cost are we looking at?
I don't know. We kind of got about 300 feet of pipe that we kind of got in between a couple blocks where there's some, on one side there's no brown water, on the other there is, dirty, muddy water. So I'm hoping to be able to camera that section and be able to see if there's a broken pipe or what's happening where that water is from. And then, we'll get a length and be able to bury it. It would be about $2,500, so that's what I'm hoping,
For the televising?
For the televising.
Is this
yeah.
by the rec center?
No. They were looking down, we kind of got it, bottom of Virginia Avenue is kind of where they were, they said to me today, they kind of seen some dirt on one side and no dirt on the other side. So I went and looked at it for about an hour here when I had some time, and I was trying to dye water in different areas, but it was kind of tough. So yeah, we're gonna try next week now when this guy comes up from Minnesota Rural Water, and that won't cost the city anything. I don't think they charge for that. So hard part is I don't know what kind of equipment he's got for a 12-inch line. Usually, like Great Lakes Pipe Service, they got a nice video where there's almost like a remote control that rides down the pipes, and camera that you can go 360 degrees and show you right where the crack is. But so that's kind of where we're at on that. But I don't know. It's up to the council if you want to make a motion to let me spend up to $3,000. I don't know what the cost is going to be,
This has been started, the investigation's been going on.
Yeah, it's,
So-
I guess Tara started noticing it. I don't know if she's always noticed it or if it just started happening recently, I guess. But yeah, I kind of talked to him this morning. There's some extra time, and I told the guys to go start looking at manholes, and so we found a suspicious area anyways. So now we just need to get under where the pipes are so we can see if there's any cracks or anything major.
Do you have anything further, Councilor Pyman? on that?
No, I don't know if we ever approved for televising in the past. I don't remember it, but I don't know if we have to make a motion to continue with the investigation. Whatever the costs are, we don't really have the costs, so.
Yeah, we don't.
I don't know.
I think in the past, we've done, there's a televised and for the cleaning.
Yeah, but that's, that's when I get 5,000 or 10,000 feet, then I get a couple of different prices, so. But this is kind of a different situation where it's almost like there's a sewer main broke or whatever, and we're doing an investigation, or, you get a broken water line or whatnot. You don't go get bids to fix it, you just get it done,
Just do it. Just gotta do
But
it.
do we have to approve it, is what I'm getting at? Do we have to
Right.
make a motion to approve him to keep going with the investigation up to a certain amount of money, or,
Do you think up to 5,000 would be to cover? I mean, I know you're talking three something, but
I hope it's not that much. I'm hoping it's going to be maybe a couple $1,000 for him to come up here for an afternoon and do some televising for me. Is what
what's
I'm
safe?
Probably 5,000, but I'm hoping it's going to be a couple thousand.
right, and then if there's more investigation that has to be done because you didn't find it in that spot, you'll have that money available to you.
I'll make a motion for pre-approval for Sam to spend up to $5,000 on videoing some of the sewer piping.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councillor Skinsich, supported by Councillor Potenon, to allow Public Works to continue the investigation into the sewer lines for the cause of the mud in the system. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0. Do you have anything else?
Water treatment plant update, meeting tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Tara mentioned a little bit at our last meeting about the trip she had down to I can't remember what town it was, Springfield. No, Spring.
That sounds I don't know.
The town where the water plant is, like we're getting down in Ohio, it is. She was very interested. It was really good for her to go down there. We'll hear her whole story on it. I didn't get all of the information from her, but she said it was very, very good that she went down. She has some thoughts on different things, what to do, what not to do. The operators were very talkative to her and willing to give her information, which was nice. And that's kind of what we're going to be meeting with SCH tomorrow on a little bit, and that, and then some of the chemical feed stuff, design. So that's all.
Thank you. And we'll move on to new business. I think we'll juggle it around now since we have Luke back. If you'd come up to the podium, please.
Back?
No.
Yes. All right. So I guess where we kind of left things, I'd like to ask the council to make a resolution agreeing to repay the $46,000, which I believe I had a right to of the IRRB funding. And those repayment options, I just kind of wrote this down to get my thoughts together. Repayment options can include, but are not limited to, we do a land exchange, same or greater value, pay the difference, right? There's options there. Do that within a year, right? Cash payment within 6 months, or a tax abatement not to extend further than 15 years. And I think it'd be maybe good to have a timeline of when we come to that decision, and say, let's do that over the next 4 months, and we can discuss that and figure out which of those three or any other mutually agreed arrangement that we can come to that would, not strap the city, not put them in a financial bind or situation, but help us resolve this and allow us to move forward.
I'll make that motion.
Mayor, if I may just briefly, I just want to, and I'm not advocating for and against any position, but I just want to make sure that the record is clear. I had heard the comment that there was, that there may be a claim of entitlement to certain of the IRRB funds based on the development agreement that was put in place that everybody signed off on. The sole purpose of those IRRB funds as captured by the development agreement was the extension of sanitary sewer and creation or facilitation of a highway access. I understand that the additional funds that we're talking about here, this $43,000, relates to or would relate to improvement of a parking lot or a parking area at the new building. And so to the extent that there's a legal claim being made here to those funds, I'm not sure that that exists from the documentation that I've seen. That being said, it's within the council's purview and ability to make a separate agreement or to create a new obligation to help facilitate this development. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if I've created more questions than provided answers.
So my understanding is we really can't do that unless we change the original contract. We can't give them the 46,000.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
That's not actually the opinion, it's within the council's purview. It would it would be creating a separate obligation than those that exist within the development agreement.
Right, so if we stick with the agreement, then we wouldn't be able to give them the 46,000.
If I may, if you stick with the agreement as written, you can't take the $50,000 extra that the IRRB gave you.
You can?
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
That's where things become a little bit less clear. The development agreement indicated that the city would ask for $150,000, dedicating those funds that were received to the extension of the sanitary sewer or some of the utilities and creation of a highway access to the property. There's no mention in the development agreement of the city pitching in or contributing money to facilitate a expansion of a parking area or improvement of a parking area. Well, I understand your position that essentially that was created or added as an alternate or addition to the request from IRRR. There is no documentation from the city where the city has ever committed to make available funds for the paving or improving of a parking area. And then I also go back again, I'm not making these comments to advocate for or against, it's just my obligation to make sure that the city is kind of aware of what the risks, responsibilities, and when we're creating a new, potentially a new obligation. So that was a purpose, not to delay or to carry the conversation any further than it needs to. And also, I'm plain in my opinion that it's within the council's discretion to make an agreement to grant those extra funds.
Motion's on the table.
I know you're crunched for time, but this needs some thought.
I'm going to second it. Then we'll move into discussion.
Motion by Councilor Polis, supported by Councilor Skinsich to approve the, how would you even describe it?
I can give what I wrote up and what I read to you, to Jill, and put in there. If you'd like to agree with it again, I can. But it's basically the repayment, and we come to terms in the next 4 months that are mutually agreeable.
Yes. What Luke said. Any further discussion?
Well, I just believe we should, he's the one that signed off on that agreement also, so now we're changing the contract for him. So, like I said before, I'm not going to vote for it. I'm going to go with the original contract, how that reads, how Brian just described it.
Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
John or Brian, or actually anybody here, the awarded money from the IRRB, is that primarily for our infrastructure expansion and as, you know, for the road going in there? Or is it to be split between the two parties, so the city?
It's a grant to the city, for their public infrastructure, public portion of the contract. It's a 50-50 match, so that match is met by his obligation to develop the site.
Okay.
Can you interject? What I got from Chris Ishmael was that the way these things work is that the lump sum of $262,000 was the request, and then $200,000 was committed. The city then is is the fiduciary responsible party to dispense those funds to where they need to go. The IRRB did not pick a certain part of the project and say we are funding just that. They funded the project in whole.
But that's not how the contract reads.
The contract reads
That the city will apply for $150,000 to help with the payment of an infrastructure system.
So then how did we end up with 200,000?
Because you signed the agreement before you had fixed numbers on what it would cost.
IRRB wanted post-bid numbers, that's why we didn't get the first grant cycle, that was that early August.
Yeah.
So they didn't act on it because they wanted us to have post-bid numbers submitted as part of the application.
So you kind of thought it wouldn't be that much. You didn't think it'd be 200,000, you thought it'd be 150, is that what you're saying?
I think the application was amended when we had the post-bid numbers up to, I don't know what you asked for, but
Yeah, originally it was like 336,000. They didn't like that number, so that's what he said, I want you to actually submit and finalize bids and numbers. We wanted to see what the project was gonna actually be. They did come in higher than we originally thought. And again, we are using this project as leverage, so that technically, had we gotten the whole 260, we wouldn't have put anything in, and we would have covered the bases.
I don't want this to be stopped. I want it to go forward. I want the business to come to town, so if there's something we can do to work out. But if that means we have to enter into a different agreement, then we got to look out for the city's best interest, which I believe Councilor Ponman's doing. So any further discussion?
It's just that, you start the game, you got the rules, and now you're changing the game rules at the end. That's how I look at it, and I'm not for that.
I don't believe that's a fair assessment of what I was doing here. We were operating in good faith. We took the very best that the engineer was able to bring forward as far as what prices were on the project. As we all know, prices are, crazy these days, so that made things difficult. That's why we're running into this issue. So I don't think it's fair to assess this as moving the goalposts.
Yes.
Like we heard from the campground, one of the main reasons for the campground is to build infrastructure. We have the money in the campground to do it, so worst case scenario, we can always figure out the details later, but I don't know.
And this is just my question, I guess. Would you be willing to split it?
Well, I guess it'd be kind of negotiating against myself. I'm already putting $20,000 into the infrastructure I didn't plan on putting in addition to building the building. So that is money that can't be refunded now by IRRB. Right. When I saw the writing on the wall that we were getting $20,000, I said, all right, I'm going to have to put some money myself. So I already am doing that. And the original percentage split was 77, 23%. We would just stay with that same percentage. And I pay some and you pay some.
Well, we'd still be paying some.
yes.
I'd be paying some, you'd be paying some. I'm paying $20,000 for that work, and the city's paying 46. In essence, to just simplify this, in essence, if I believe I have a claim to this money, I would be giving the city a loan for this $46,000 in essence, until you can determine how that would be repaid through whatever means makes most sense.
Good.
are you going to start on the building?
The building will be started, site work's being done right now. The slab will be poured within 2 weeks. That's kind of the goal, and then the building will go up after that.
All people?
That's if there's no delays.
Okay. That would be the leverage the IIRB. If we incur costs with Joe and Sock, he in turn invest, putting the building up, so.
So are you talking about going after more money then? Is that what you're saying?
We're not asking for more money. Well, I think we're asking for more money.
They wouldn't give it.
Yeah,
I'm still for it, so.
no,
I don't want to see us go backwards. We can figure it out. Whatever it comes to, tax, whatever.
I guess the only thing I would say is to add into there is a decision date. I know you were saying
4 months.
6 months, 4 months, 12 months, whatever it's going to be, just so we have a time frame.
I did put a date in there for us to come to an agreement for 4 months from September 26th to make an agreement between the council and my trust entity that is doing this. So we can sort that out over the next 4 months.
January 12th, is that what you're?
If that's 4 months from now, yeah. January 26th then? Or is that 26th, 4 months?
All right.
I would agree to giving him $20,000 for his parking lot, but no more than that. Because it's his parking lot. He should pay for it. Like you said, Jeremy, why are we paying for his parking lot? And I could see 20,000 max to him. You said split it in half. I'd say 20,000 max, and I'll agree to any way we get the rest of the money.
The motion on the table is for 46.
Yeah.
That would put me in a position of paying $20,000 for the city's sewer system.
Your sewer system.
I can put a sewer system in for less than $10,000.
we have the
That's
motion.
I would agree to 20,000 only. You guys vote however, I'm not voting for 46.
Support.
Motion's on the table, supported. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
One, motion carries 3-1. With the contingency date of January 26th for a timeline that both parties can come to an agreement.
Excellent. Thank you for working with me on this. I know it's no fun to sort these things out in the 9th hour, but we kind of got stuck a little bit with this. One final thing, if I could ask for, is a resolution that the city is going to spend the $200,000 on the infrastructure money. I know you said that you would award the bid, but I'm moving forward with a building without a direct commitment that money will be spent on that. I don't want to be in the position where I put $300,000 into a building and the sewer line doesn't get put in.
I don't think we have that option, do we, John?
No, it's going to be done. It's a matter of when it's going to be done.
There's a contract that remains.
The monies are coming and the bid was accepted. What more do you want?
There's a remaining contract that needs to be signed between the city and the IIRB to actually receive the money, and so that hasn't been done yet. And so between that point, between now and then, I'm going to put several $100,000 into this without that actually having been signed.
Well, we just approved it tonight, though.
The awarding of the bid?
The award letter.
We accepted it and awarded it.
With the contingency that the IIRB funding is accepted?
Yeah.
So there's still a contingency out there saying that new board comes in all of a sudden or something changes, right? They wouldn't necessarily have to accept the IIRB funding, and that would nullify the agreement with the with the sale?
Yes, I'm not following because,
I believe that our original resolution, though, was to make application and accept funding from IRRB. So I believe we do it in one resolution, if I'm not mistaken. So that we've already done that, I believe.
Is that, okay, all right, I just want to make sure we were all on the same page there.
We accepted it and we approved Easy, Jola, to do the
Whatever
work.
the name is.
So that's all that's done.
I might have come in right after that then, so, okay.
Okay,
All right,
that's done.
excellent.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
well,
done.
Again, thank you, and we're gonna hit the ground running here and start working like crazy.
Thanks, Luke.
Hey,
Good
thank
luck,
you for
and-
everything. I appreciate it.
Should we do the transit one before we go?
Yep. Let's move to item D, the transient merchant. If I can find it. Transient merchant permit for October 7th in front of the Sandbar on Main Street.
Guessing they got the sandbar's permission, right?
Don't know that they need it if they're on the street.
Oh, I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Counselor Polis, supported by Counselor Skinsich to approve the transient merchant permit for October 7th. Any further discussion?
Well, yeah, you just says they don't need permission to go in front of the sandbar. I'd be angry if somebody was using up my parking spots. You know, wouldn't you think they need permission to?
It's a public street,
I know, but
so I'm
just
sure that...
just a courtesy.
Right, and I'm sure it's part of that. I don't know if chief teachers had any knowledge of this.
I'm not aware of that would be right from the sandbars across the street, right in front of it.
It's, I've got the Sandbar Main Street. So I'm assuming that it's in front of the Sandbar on Main Street.
I'm sure they talked to Todd.
But yeah, I'm sure they would have.
I hope so,
I
just
would
as a
hope so.
courtesy
Oh, I
call,
agree.
you know?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
And I know if there's any issues, the PD will be dealing with it, but
Station with the two bar owners and then also with the vendor. I guess worst case, maybe people park there.
beforehand,
People park there, so. But no, we'll try to deal with it in the civil way, so.
yeah. But yeah, if it's a public street,
Right.
first come, first serve, if they're there. So any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0.
I don't think they want to make any waves trying to sell food.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
I'm sure they talked to Todd.
Also see on that article that
So he's aware of it, and he might be part of it. Okay. All right, all we have left on the agenda is the closed session. No?
Budget levy. It's not on there.
It's just part of the working session, so we'll want to.
Is it?
Our preliminary budget. I just have on the line item, motions from working session. It's the very last one, so we can have that, and that's what we want to go ahead and do and make a motion for the preliminary budget.
Yeah, let's do that under the miscellaneous and, or actually, yeah, action from the closed session be, or,
Motions from working session.
well, yes, C. Can't even read my own notes. So motions from the working session on preliminary budget that was discussed. Which so the public understands that our preliminary budget is just that, preliminary. 34% is what the city's looking at. It's high and scary, but I promise you, we're gonna do our best to work it down to as low as we can. The purpose of 34% is because the fire truck purchase and the new plow truck, which was, what was the numbers? Jill, help me out.
That was 1.2 million for those two.
Yeah, $1.2 million for the both, that we have to come up with the payment to pay.
How much is it a year?
127,000.
Okay, that sounds better than 1.2 million.
Right, so, yeah. So for the budget purposes, we have to come up with $127,000 to pay. So with other expenditures,
That's about half of the 34% was those two items. The other half is increases in salaries and everything else.
Insurance.
Insurance.
and, yeah, with
Everything's gone
the
up.
cost of living increase, everything's gone up. I'm sure we've all tasted that from, and paying attention to the news, the cost of everything's going up, the cost for the city to do business. We have to make those ends meet somehow, so right now, we're setting the levy at 34%. Again, it's just preliminary, and this council will do its best to get that number down.
I'll make that motion for 30% preliminary.
30 or
30 or 34?
34% preliminary levy increase.
Motion by Councilor Potenon to increase the levy 34%.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Skinsich. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries. Ouch. Okay. Now do I have everything covered? Now we go, now do we can recess?
I'll make a motion to,
Do we have to adjourn or recess? Recess, yeah. At 7:30 PM, we'll recess now. Council will be going into a closed meeting. And we can, yeah. All right, I call our meeting back in order at 8:25 PM. And per our closed meeting, do I have a motion? Pardon me?
don't we have to take roll call?
No.
No?
Not for,
What we should do is just make a short record that the purpose of the closed session was to discuss potential positions and negotiating positions relative to an employment or labor contract with the city.
Yeah, that.
do I have to repeat that? So the purpose of the closed meeting was to discuss contract, labor negotiation for contract. Do I need to name the name or? No, okay. So do we have a motion or do we have to, for directing?
Yeah, it should be a motion to direct staff or direct the clerk.
Direct the staff to counteroffer. I'll move. With what's discussed, moved by Councilor Polis.
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Skinsich to allow Clerk Zoller to counteroffer for the labor agreement. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. Do we have any miscellaneous announcements? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by Councilor Polis.
You know what? We didn't discuss about that roof on that low tower. Remember?
Right, the D and tanks.
Yeah, but that has to be brought up.
Yeah.
It should have been brought up tonight, really, because,
But
right, pardon?
add it to Monday and we can have a
Okay, add it to
discussion on it.
Monday. Yeah, right.
Perfect.
Yeah, right.
Perfect,
Because
because yes.
you know what, yeah, I don't know how, you know what happened there, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Motion seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0. Meeting adjourned at 8:29 PM.